get together and feel all right. I'm sure you've heard those words before from the legendary Robert Nesta Marley, aka Bob Marley. But can we actually get together and feel all right? Our world is so diverse today. Well, I guess it has always been diverse, but we're able to see our diversity more clearly today because of the use of social media and other information technologies. And because people are moving across provinces, across countries, across continents, everyone is everywhere. So we are able to see our diversity even clearer. But no matter your color, your background, your religious practices, we have one thing that is common to everyone. I know you guessed it. That's right. It's the institution of marriage. And dare I add, another thing that we have in common is the alarming rate at which these "till death do us part" has ended in divorce. Did you know that 40% of first marriages end in a divorce? That's right. Did you know that 60% of marriages that are second marriages end in a divorce? Do you need me say more? Yes? Well, here you go. 73% of third marriages end in a divorce. So where does a Christian woman stand in all of this? How are Christian women navigating marriages, divorce, and after the divorce? Well, join me today. We will be walking with two beautiful Christian women as they share their journeys, the myths, the challenges, and the strategies that they use to navigate not one, but two marriages, two divorces, and the aftermath. My Voice, the Christian Woman Talk Show, where we listen to your story. If you like this conversation, why don't you go ahead, subscribe to my channel, like this conversation, and share with a friend. All right, so welcome back. As I said before, I have two beautiful ladies here today, so I'm just going to introduce them and then give them a chance to tell us about who they are. So, Karen and Sonia, welcome to Uncovering My Voice.
Thank you.
Okay, so who's Karen?
Well, I am a Christian. I've been Christian for over 20 years. I became Christian in college in 2000, and then I discovered the Sabbath, and then I discovered more and more truths of the Bible, so I'm a fully Bible-following, Bible-believing Christian.
I love it. Fully following, Bible-believing Christian. I like that. All right. So, who is Sonia? Tell us.
Okay, so I'm Sonia, and I grew up with a family who's strong in our faith with the Most High. You know, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. I got baptized at 14 years old in a Baptist church. And, you know, as I got older, you know, wasn't going to church as much, was out in the world a little bit. And after later on, you know, I found my way back and joined a different church, Pentecostal, for a while. And, you know, found my way back to having a strong relationship and made some poor choices. But here I am back with the Most High, having a strong personal relationship, up close and personal, so I'm happy about that.
Thank you. I'm sure most of us can relate to that, to going and trying out and testing different churches, seeing where we fit, where we belong. So thank you very much for that, ladies. So, ladies, one of the One of the things I spoke about in my intro was the fact that marriage has been one of the longest standing institution that is like adhered to by like any religion in the world you think of. There is marriage. But as Christian women, we want to talk about our journey as married women and as Christian women. So I'm going to ask Karen to kickstart us here, right? And tell us, have you been married? Are you married or will you be married? Which one? I don't know.
I was married for 9 years and
Okay.
I'm divorced.
Oh, you're divorced. Okay. What was that journey like, the marriage?
The marriage, it was very painful. I was married to a narcissist, and I was, I stayed in the marriage because of shame and guilt, and I know that God hates divorce, and but there was a lot of abuse, and I was told by pastors, I was told by lay people,
Wow.
put up, you're married and you need
Stay
to
put.
stay married.
So how long into the marriage did you find that the marriage was heading in the wrong direction? How soon, I should ask?
Probably about 2 weeks in.
And you stayed?
I stayed for 9 years.
You stayed for 9 years.
And had 2 children.
Okay.
Yeah. And so
So you stayed because you were afraid to leave, or you stayed because of the church?
I stayed because of my relationship with God and my conviction at the time. Well, my understanding at the time. The Seventh-day Adventist Church, which is where I was going for years and years, the view on marriage is that marriage is forever, and the only reason you can get divorced is if there is physical cheating. So pornography, that's okay. Abuse, well, put up with it. So that is the
Well,
view.
and I need to ask you, when you say abuse, are we talking verbal abuse?
We're talking mental, emotional from a narcissist, and there was some physical.
Okay.
So, yeah, and so according to the church, at the time, I was in Alberta at the time and then moved to Ontario, we went to at least 4 different pastors for counseling. One pastor told us that, pornography, it's no big deal. Put up with it. I do it in my marriage. We were told, I was told, just pray, just keep praying for him. Meanwhile, I'm dealing with a narcissist who is emotionally and psychologically abusive. It was very painful. I spent so much time crying out to God, and it was very painful. And not having that support at all from the church. So that was my experience in the marriage, and it wasn't until recently that shame and that guilt from divorcing has left me, because I only recently learned what the actual Hebrew means in the Bible by watching a Messianic sermon and even the Jewish roots sermons on where it says that if you leave someone and you remarry, you're committing adultery. It actually, what it says is if you put away your wife or husband and you marry another, you're committing adultery. And that putting away is separating. It's without giving a divorce. So of course, if you're separated and you're not divorced, that's adultery because you're not divorced. But God doesn't want us to be destroyed mentally, physically, emotionally for the sake of a marriage.
Okay. Just give me a minute to...
Yeah, I'm okay now.
Okay. you've said so much, and I know anyone who is going to watch this or who is watching this is going to have the same kind of emotional, you know, what meltdown like you just did, because it's real and it's natural that you're doing this. And I must say, I'm going to give you a chance to answer the same question, but I must say, from right off the bat, that you know, I really appreciate you coming on and telling us your journey, because not a lot of people will do this, and we're going to get to that. But I'm going to give Sonia an opportunity to tell us, are you married, Sonia?
Currently, I'm separated.
A little louder.
I'm currently separated, not officially divorced. I've checked the status recently with the court online, and it's apparently with the divorce judge under review.
Yes.
So it's been taking quite it's from April, so I'm not sure what's going on with that.
Okay. So what was your journey like? How many times have you been married?
Twice.
You've been married twice?
Twice.
Okay, so tell us about the first one. How was that one?
First one was not good. I met this person young, and you know, we were dating for 11 years because I was trying to focus on school and getting established into a career.
11 years?
Yes. Well, we're kids. I was only, I think, 19 when I met him, so that's why I was not in a rush to do that. But this was a controlling relationship. This person, I tried to break up with him multiple times, but of course he would come with sob story, crying, promise he'll change. There were so many red flags, but I feel that because I didn't have a strong heart to resist people's guilt tripping, and
and we were young.
Very young.
Sorry, you were young.
Yes, I was young.
So you didn't really understand the whole red flag, and
no,
those weren't languages we used.
No, it was not.
Right?
And I had no guidance from anybody to teach me how to have better self-respect.
So you kept thinking that, all right, he's really going to change this time.
And exactly, and end up marrying him, which was a big mistake. And you know, there was a daughter that came out of the marriage, and I love my daughter, and you know, something good came out of the marriage, but I ended up leaving when she was not even 3.
Oh.
Because I knew that.
So after you got married, you sum it up real fast.
Yeah, that was not the future that I wanted for her, to show an example of what life should be like and how she should be treated. So I got. And
then how long were you divorced before you went into a second?
I was separated for at least.
Divorced.
Sorry, divorced. I think it was at least, actually no, the divorce didn't come right away. He refused to sign the papers. And that was, he just dragged it on. He didn't want to let go of me, and I didn't have money at the time, just trying to raise my daughter.
What is that?
That was just control again.
Karen, what is that? You want somebody wants to move away from you, and you are dragging them and hanging on. What are you hanging on for? What?
Meanwhile, he was in a full-on relationship, having multiple children, but it was a control. Basically, if I can't have you, nobody should.
So your husband was not a Christian person?
No, he was not.
But Karen, was your husband a Christian person?
He was, and I actually also had a second marriage after being divorced for, I think it was 7 years. I had a short second marriage, it was 2 years, and he was not a narcissist, but he had lust issues, and he also...
What kind of issues?
Lust.
Oh, lust.
And he also was not good for the children at all. And
because they were not his children.
Yeah, and that was the main reason I left him, because he wasn't good for the children at all.
So,
so you're divorced a second time?
Yeah.
Okay. Are you divorced a second time?
Yes, unfortunately.
So tell us about the second marriage. What happened there?
Yeah, so the second marriage, this was about 11 years of separated from this person. I got a divorce when I met this gentleman because he was pushing me to get married, which was a red flag, and I didn't see it again.
The language we didn't know.
Yeah, right. I guess there wasn't enough self-reflection and healing.
Yes.
Busy focusing on my daughter, so I, again, made a second mistake and allowed this person to pressure me into marrying him. And this person didn't have his papers. I met him through some mutual party. I know better, but I think I let my guard down because at the time my friend had passed away, and I met him through that person's husband. So vulnerable, and was a bad place in my life, a low point, and this person was able to capitalize on that. So that's basically what happened, and it was a colossal mistake. Many red flags. That's just something I want to share with people if they do reach out, because I want to save people from these.
And this is the one that's being dragged out in the courts, right?
Dragged out in the courts since July 2020.
And I just want to say something about that red flags too. I want to say to young women who are looking for a spouse.
I was just going to ask you that. We're reading each other's mind. What are some of the things that they should be looking for, and some of the red flags they should be picking up on?
First of all, I knew that both of my husbands didn't have a relationship with God. They were called by the name of Christian, but they didn't have a real.
So we're breaking this down. They were Christians.
They were Christians
with quotes,
going to church,
but they did not know God.
They didn't have that real relationship with God. God was not in control of their lives, and not only that, but what I want to say to young women, young men and young women, when somebody shows you who they are, believe them. Because
they say actions speak louder than words.
They do, and I would just brush it off as always having a bad day. Oh, that's not, he's gonna change that. No, they're not gonna change. Believe who they are. They're showing you who they are.
So that's one red flag. Like, you're a Christian, and they're Christian, but they don't have a relationship with God. And you can figure that out really quickly, right? What's another red flag that you would say, now that you've gone through these 2 marriages, what's a red flag that you would say, young ladies, young men, that's a red flag?
When you're being pressured into things, that's a first red flag. When someone will allow you time to process situations, or ask proper questions, or say, don't question me, that's a red flag. You should be allowed to ask as many questions as you want to feel comfortable and satisfied that you're,
that's the
making the right choice.
communication piece of it.
Exactly.
That's the communication piece of it. Being able to have proper conversations.
To not be shut down.
Asking the tough questions. What's your finances like? And, stuff that are going to matter to you, right? Are you emotionally available?
Exactly. And another big red flag I want to touch on quickly too, that was hurting me a lot when we were dating, and I shouldn't have gone to the marriage, even based off this alone, where the person would always take sides with even a stranger and put me down, and he knows these people.
So no support, and
that's abuse within itself.
I think in the language today, they say they don't show up for you.
And I think that's part of narcissism as well.
Character traits,
Throw you under the bus each time.
And I would also say that if they are if they get upset when you spend time with friends, family, because abusive people will try and isolate you from your friends and your family.
That's interesting. That they don't want you to leave to go be with your family, because then you have support with your family.
Right. Now my exes didn't do that, but I do know that is is an abusive trait.
And there's a subtle abuse too. I think that's important, because some things graduate if you allow certain things. And I'll give you a quick example. I think red nail polish you should be wearing. I don't like that. No, I think it was pink.
Or if you want to wear a little makeup, they're gonna tell you, don't wear a little makeup.
I don't like that color.
They don't like that, right?
And the thing is, it's not up to them to approve or disapprove of a choice you make for something so minor in your life. So that's a way to have power over you. And if you give into that, it graduates and escalates. So recognize it from the early beginnings.
And actually, talking about narcissism, something that is characteristic of narcissists is that they will love bomb you.
Yes.
So in the beginning, they will love bomb you. They'll be giving you all kinds of flowers, treating you like you're a queen. And then once they have you, that's when their real personality comes out.
Wow. So, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you're taking notes because this is reality. This is real. And a lot of women are in relationships that are bitter to their mental health, but they refuse to see the reality of what they're experiencing. All right. So now we're going to switch it up a little bit and we're going to talk about what happened after the divorce, the journey after the divorce, the challenges, the support groups, or the lack thereof. So ladies, now that you're divorced, you are divorced from your first marriage, your second one is still, being dragged out to the courts, and Karen is divorced, fully divorced. Talk to us about, I'm going to start with you this time, Sonia.
Okay.
Talk to us about what were the support groups that you could depend on? What were some of the challenges, or where did you find it most difficult to, go through this journey?
Right. So I'll touch briefly on the first divorce that's official, where I had my family members that I was still close with, and
Your family members are like your
my
mom?
mom and my sister.
Okay.
And I wasn't really too impacted because my daughter was young. All my energy and time went into educating her, taking her to our programs,
Yeah.
and just immerse
So you
myself.
immerse yourself into your...
being a mom and try to be the best mom I can be, and try to create a lot of beautiful memories for her, because my childhood was very tough growing up, and I didn't want her to have that.
So the first one was good.
So the divorce didn't impact me as much.
Oh.
Because
It was like never happened.
I wouldn't
Just
say it
move
never
on with your life.
happened. There was some emotional damage,
Trauma,
but I didn't take time to look at it. I just kept it moving, which
So
was not the
what kind of support did you get from your families and?
You know what? I didn't even reach out, to be honest, for support. My workplace didn't even know for the longest time I was with this person, so I think I somehow buried my feelings and just kept moving.
Okay.
So it wasn't like something where I was reaching out.
So no challenges, even the second one.
So the second one is from hell, a living hell, and a nightmare.
We're talking about the after. The second one after.
The second marriage where I'm not officially divorced, but we're separated.
Yeah.
Since January 2019. That's a divorce from hell.
Oh.
And this person has a lot of character traits of a narcissist and some other character traits which I would not say here. But very, very
So what
scary.
are the challenges that you're having?
The challenges I'm having, this person, as I said, about narcissistic character traits, where they would go and spread information about you unbeknownst to you to family members, and try to reach out to friends to say things that are
To your family members?
to my own family members,
Okay.
to destroy me, to have them change their opinion of me, and so that way they try to break down whatever support that you may have. They even have family members who would call you to advocate for them, attack you without even hearing your side. Very manipulative, and somehow I don't know how they pull this off. But
So your own family that you were
My own
looking
family.
to for support started supporting him.
started to
because-
support him, and the loyalty was in the wrong place. And it really opened my eyes to see that if this person's in your life for a short period of time, and your own family member, which is myself that you grew up with, if you can turn so quickly on me, that means you weren't really in my corner. So all he did was to bring that out. So that was
So your family support was not there, and so that kind of was eroded.
I wouldn't say all family members.
Okay.
So I'm not going to say that, but there are two in particular that he eroded the relationship with. And I would say, I don't know if I'm going to say permanently, but I haven't spoken to these people since, I guess, 2022. It's been quite some time. It's not because I'm holding hate or it's not unforgiveness, but
You just prefer to just...
it's self-preservation where in order to not be damaged emotionally because people do not acknowledge their faults and things will continue, I'd better to distance myself to protect my mental health, because you cannot have a conversation with someone who does not take the time to care about what you're going through, or worse, to endorse someone who's harmful and toxic to you.
Okay. Okay. Karen, did you have something you want to contribute to this question
I
about
have a
the
lot.
child?
Yes,
She
I
said.
have so much.
So let's start with the support. Was
Okay,
there any support
so,
or groups that you would have wanted to be on your?
I'll start with family and then I'll move into the church. So,
Mm.
my mom was my rock. My mom passed 2 months after we got married.
Oh dear.
So,
I'm so sorry.
it's okay, I'm okay.
Okay.
When she passed, she was the glue in our family. I lost my mom, my dad, my sister, all of the family when my mom passed. So my dad remarried very quickly after my mom passed. So he was focused on his wife and her family. My sister never really wanted a sister. So now our relationship is we text, but it's not, it's nowhere near.
There's no strength in there.
It's nowhere near the relationship that I wish that I had with my sister. Now, my ex used that later in court, which we'll get to later. So I pretty much had no family support whatsoever. My dad, I would talk to him sometimes on the phone, maybe see him once a year. And he didn't want to hear anything about it. So I had no family support. The church, so I had at the time 2 close friends, and that's pretty much it.
In the church?
In the church. My ex, like Sonia said, he would slander me, gossip, slander me.
Why do they have to do that though? Why do they have to do this? Why do they have to go and make a bad situation worse?
I can answer that.
Yeah,
Let me let Karen finish.
It's because they want to make your life more difficult because they can no longer control you. Narcissists are controlling. They can no longer control you, so they want to make your life as bad as they can, and they will do it in any way possible. So he slandered me, spread all kinds of falsehoods about me. He used the fact that I'm a conservative, Bible-believing Christian, and slandered me throughout the community. People were thinking that I was bringing him back to court when we just recently went to court, and they were saying, how could she bring him? He was bringing me back to court. I had a teacher who would tell my children, my one child, that my son, that, oh, you're lucky that your mom's picking you up, because if your dad was, I would tell him what you did.
That's concerning.
Yeah. When I went to the teachers for a letter, because he accused me of not feeding my children, which my children were thriving, lots of food. So when I went to a teacher for a letter, the teacher told him because they knew each other from school.
Wow.
I had a grade 4 teacher who's now a principal who had, when she could, started blocking me from going on the school trips. So I had always gone on all the school trips. And, oh no, we don't need anybody. Oh no, we don't need anybody. And actually gave him and his family a discount on a trip to Camp Frenda, but refused to give me that discount.
Oh, this is at the school though?
At the school.
Not the
At
church.
the Christian school. That's
Oh.
the Seventh-day Adventist school.
Oh.
Yeah.
So, you wanted to chime in on that?
Yeah, so what I've done through extensive research, why they basically do the smear campaign with their family and friends, they want to be the victim.
Yeah.
To portray themselves, look,
Yes.
I'm the innocent party, and this person's so evil and awful. Meanwhile, they're the one who's doing the harm to you.
Yes.
And because you're not the
And you
one
refuse to see it.
and because you're not so vocal,
Yeah.
people tend to believe
Yes.
the falsehood.
Yeah.
Yes.
And the quickest people to believe that is the people who weren't in your corner in the first place.
Yeah.
So sometimes it's best not to even.
And these are
engage.
some of the reasons why women don't want to leave, because all these things, betrayal, all these breadcrumbs of things that are going to happen afterwards,
Yeah.
you would rather just die in that marriage because like you cannot be bothered. You went through a horrible marriage and now to go through a horrible separation and to eventually be on your own and struggling through all of this by yourself, you'd rather just die in that marriage, right? Which is what the church wants.
Right.
Right.
The church wants you to just die there.
And the thing is, for quickly on support, I didn't have any support much. I have one sister who I pray with her, and but there's so much you can expect because it affects others too when you download too much. And Karen's been supportive as well, but again, sometimes you have to suffer through it a bit on your own, which is very tough.
Yes,
There's
you have to
psychological
pull
damage.
yourself away.
Yeah.
You have to be absent from the crowd.
Yes.
Shut down the noise
Yes.
and just do what you
Yes.
have to do.
Yeah.
This is how I see
Yes.
it. Like
And just connect with
just
God.
stop talking to people
Yeah.
because they're using it against you.
Right. And also he's severed by family members too, because I think people feel torn between who their loyalty should go, because the people who were not supportive of me, the two family members, I guess they feel awkward to say, how do I speak to Sonia? And then I'm speaking to those people, especially one of them who's the head. So it turns out where they just stop talking altogether. So then that wrecked the whole family dynamic and relationships now.
I'm not even gonna lie. Sometimes I wonder if marriage should really be a thing. Because like, why would you go through this again? Like 2 times. Are you gonna do this again?
I highly doubt it. I mean, I never say never, but honestly, I feel like I have post-traumatic stress disorder from the marriages, and I feel like I don't know if I can ever put
Commit to this
my
again.
heart back into something and trust someone again.
Yeah.
I don't know if I don't know if I'm
What about
ready
you?
for that. I don't know.
Well, the thing is, I've been such traumatized, especially through this last person, where I don't have my sights set on it, even though I don't want to be alone forever. And so I leave it up to the Most High, and I know I'm in a better place mentally in terms of self-worth, self-respect, and boundaries. But what I will say, right now my focus, I want to allow the Most High God to use me to be an example and a guide and a blessing to the masses, to educate them, to help them navigate even through the judicial system, navigate through abusive relationships. So I want to serve a greater purpose than to be concerned too much about a marital situation. So I leave that up to him, and we'll revisit that at the right time.
I do believe that God created marriage, and He created marriage to be beautiful.
To be beautiful.
To be two people coming together as one. And it's supposed to be a beautiful thing, and I want to believe in it. I do. And of course I've always wanted, to have that. But at the same time,
that's why you went in a second time.
That's why
you're giving it a second shot.
right?
Like you're not just stupid, just wanting to get married. It's because you believe in it.
But I was still broken, right? I was still broken when I went into the second.
And you're still broken now.
And I'm still, traumatized.
Yeah.
I don't know, but definitely I think right now I have 2 boys, and they're the most important thing for me right now.
Yeah. And as women, that's what we do, and like we bury ourselves into now caring for our children and stuff, and then we get older, and as we get older, our capacity to find other persons diminishes because right now your focus is on your children and seeing them through this murky water and stuff. We're going to segue into something else. All right, so we've talked a lot about the divorce, the marriage, the divorce, and after the divorce. But there's something else that we want to dive into that we never hear this part of it. And I'm very happy that these ladies have volunteered to talk a little bit about their experience when it comes to the courts. What is this? Litigation, the whole thing. So Karen and Sonia have been dragged into like a fight in this court just to get their freedom. And they want to share a little bit about some of this. So Karen, dive right in.
Okay, so I did start the first litigation. my ex didn't want to pay child support at all. He didn't want the children to go to any sports activities or do anything. So we went to court. My experience at first with the court was fine. I didn't, I'm a self-represented litigant. So
That means she didn't get a lawyer.
I had no lawyer. At first I did, and then I couldn't afford to continue.
So really you went to the court basically because you weren't getting any support,
I wasn't
financial
getting
support.
any financial support, and the kids weren't able to do, a lot of
Yeah.
things. Well, actually, they're only 1.5 and 3.5 at the time, so we hadn't gotten into sports or anything yet. But later on, he didn't want them to do any of that.
Right.
So what happened was we went to court, and things got settled without trial. Some things, like the parenting schedule.
But isn't this like after 9 years?
After 9 years of marriage.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
he didn't want to support you
Yeah.
after 9 years.
9 years of marriage.
Okay.
Yes, and we've been in court for 11 years now.
Wait, the first marriage?
Yeah, we're still in court.
Oh, wait, is that possible?
Yeah. So what happened was.
Wait, is that possible?
Yes.
Like, so I thought you were married a
We're
second time.
divorced. We divorced in 2014.
So why are you in court?
Okay, so the first court was 2014. So when you go to court, you have conferences, and if things can't
Right.
get settled, you go to trial.
Yeah.
It generally takes around 2 to 3 years
Right.
to get through the system. So we didn't make it to trial the first time. We went to court, we on a case conference, settlement conference, we had some orders made. We had a final order for parenting time. So for the parenting schedule, who's gonna have the kids when? So the kids were with me,
Yes.
and they were
Sorry, keep going.
they were with him Wednesday nights, alternate weekends, and they had a 3-hour visit on Mondays. That was a final schedule. Then he kept taking me back on motions for more time with the kids and or vacation time and this and that. And then I had to take him back on a motion because he didn't want the kids to go to sports. He didn't want to pay for the sports. He didn't want them in.
Is it because he's a Sunday Adventist, he didn't want them to play sports?
No, it wasn't even just the sports. It was everything. He didn't want to put the time or the money into it. He didn't want to drive them. I had to bring them to everything. I brought them to all their doctor's appointments, everything. He was not involved.
So what were you
in
suing
that
him
way.
for? Just the money?
I brought him back, for the money and for the schedule, like that.
And then he just kept dragging
and the
it out.
decision making because he didn't want them doing anything.
Mhm.
So and we couldn't agree on anything.
So was it worth it for 11 years?
Well, so what happened was we got orders and things were, and then we had my lawyer at the time who came up with an agreement. So we wouldn't go to trial, but the agreement, and I don't know how that got in there, it's actually not even legal, but what got in there was in 10 years, he can bring me back to court regardless of if there's a material change in circumstance or not. And the rule of law is there has to be a material change in circumstance. There has to be a good reason for him to bring it back after a final order. But he was allowed to do that. So after exactly 10 years, he brought me back to court. And when we went back, we ended up going to trial. And so in the meantime, he's poisoning the kids, telling them things. I go to pick up the kids, and even when they were little, and they'd cry and scream, I don't like mommy. And I would ask them, well, what happened? Why did you say that? Well, Daddy told me to say that. And Daddy said that we couldn't finish watching our show.
This is a person in the church, eh?
This is a person in the church.
And this person's still in the church.
And he's still in the church.
You see, I have a problem with that because it's crazy.
And that when you're dealing with a narcissist in court, like Sonia said, they will slander, play the victim. So in court, he was the victim dad who
you were trying to
take his kids away from him, even though I had mountains of evidence. I had, like, even their cousin, the kid's cousin that's not related to me, I would bring him over, stay at my house so the kid could spend time with him. I gave him extra time with the kids. He had a couple of emails that I didn't give him extra time because he was taking advantage of it. And he was coming to expect it, and he would get mad at me and when I couldn't. So he had a couple of emails of that, but I had a bunch of emails where I gave him extra time with the kids, where I accommodated his requests. I had mountains. I had an OCL report where the kids didn't want the schedule that they have now. And they didn't want 1 week on and 1 week off. They wanted a 5-2-2-5 schedule, which they wouldn't even know what a 5-2-2-5 schedule was if he hadn't told them what that was. He always told them when we were going to court. I had a Children's Aid Society report. I had all this mountain of evidence, and that was completely disregarded.
Just because you didn't have your own lawyer.
Because I didn't have a lawyer, and I think she also didn't like that I'm a conservative Christian. So I had those two things.
But he was also a Christian.
Yeah, but not a conservative Christian. So, and he didn't have a lawyer when we went to trial, but he had a lawyer do all the paperwork.
So how did this affect your second marriage? Because you're in your second marriage and this is going on.
I actually was already in the process of divorcing my second marriage when we went to court. So we got divorced in 2014. So I guess it was we got divorced. We started going to court in 2013, 2004, separated in 2013, divorced in 2014. I remarried in 2018, divorced in 2020. We were still in court in the second round of court.
His brother had nothing to do.
Right.
He had nothing to do.
So
life is so short.
And
instead of just taking the right steps to make everybody happy and just doing the simple things in life, like just giving time and taking time and making everybody happy, you're dragging out this in court. You know how much time and money that is?
Yeah. And he was still underpaying. So all of the years, so he was
still not paying the bills.
He was
so like what? What is an expectation?
He was ordered to pay support based on his income.
So what? He wanted you back? Is that it?
No, not at all. He just couldn't control me anymore.
Okay.
So
keep getting back to that point.
Yeah. So he in 2014 was ordered to pay support based on his income, and he was supposed to increase the support as his income increased, but he never did that, and he never gave me his taxes. So he was paying the same amount of support throughout those years, but he was underpaying for all those years. So I went after the retroactive, and I got an imputed income because I'm a single mother who can't work full-time 5 days a week. I don't know how some women do it. I can't. I also am hyperthyroid, which makes me very tired sometimes. When I have stress actually triggers it.
Okay.
So, and court is very stressful, and I was self-representing. I had paperwork to do.
I don't even like to hear the word court. Just the word court is a trigger for me. I really. Let's hear from you then, Sonia.
Yeah, this court has been nothing but
trauma
and trauma.
That's her word. Her favorite word is hell.
Yeah, this person, he
don't choose hell.
He came into it with an agenda, which I missed all the red flags, but just to sum up what the agenda is: marry Sonia, get my citizenship, take her to the cleaners, her pension, her house, her car.
So you never hear the word prenup?
Well, the thing is, I didn't have a lot of money and I wanted to wait, but that's why he was pressuring me to marry me. He didn't want me to take time to get things in order. So pressure her.
But he wanted the papers.
That was secondary. I realized he could have paid someone to get the papers.
Well, you didn't have to marry him. This is Canada. You could just do it by common law.
No, but because of my faith and belief, I wanted to do the right thing. And marriage is sacred. And I wanted to get married, and I was hoping to have another child. I was late in age.
Yeah.
And I had a small window left. So there's a few things
Well, just come in
where I
hot.
was vulnerable with.
Just came
so,
in hot and just
So yeah, and he didn't want to wait, and I kept trying to wait,
just
and he
deal
kept
with the case
pushing
and
me
just like
and
marry,
pushing
marry.
me and pushing me. Oh, I'm looking
Oh.
over my shoulder. They might deport me. All this false story that I realized after when I found paperwork when he left the house was that his visa did not expire. So it was all a trap and a trick because he was after my assets. So as I said, citizenship he could have paid off anybody. The bigger picture was I'm going
So
to
you lost
get
some pension?
Oh, that's an understatement.
Oh my gosh.
My 3/4 of my pension went out into legal fees, which lawyers took, more than one lawyer. The last lawyer owes me, and I can say this, I have receipts, if he's watching, if he does watch, over $12,000. He flipped it and said I owed him, wrote to the court with a bunch of false information. I have receipts again, and still haven't seen them. I saw a penny of this money. And
So this was the second marriage?
this is the second marriage. So lots of money went to legal, and including this last lawyer that didn't return all this fund that still has it and flipped it, said it was my.
So you didn't have a lawyer?
No, that's something I did. I had multiple lawyers. That's
So
where
what
my
was
money
the
went.
problem in the court? Why were you
He
losing?
would not provide his financial disclosures,
Oh.
and he fabricated sworn false documents, and I kept trying to advance the case to get these documents. The lawyers weren't really looked like they were interested in advancing the case, and opposing counsel. I realized after when I read letters and communications on the record, she was being very, how do I put it, challenging towards them, and I don't think they like that, so they probably figure it's easy to just take her money and leave, meaning me, because they don't need to deal with this. So they weren't really helping me. And when I tried to advance this case, I would get dismissed, and it seems like I was not getting any justice in terms of this person being forced to bring the paperwork. And if I was saying a wording wrong, because I was new back then at litigation, there's always a saying that, such further direction or something to that effect that this honorable court deems just, they can make that ruling. No guidance, no other no direction to say maybe we should have a hearing and revisit this. Just dismiss. And even when I end up making an offer to settle, they had some outrageous numbers, didn't want to settle. And when I went to court, a lot of my evidence, and again, I have no problems with saying this, was not entered, and that was improper. There was a lot of procedural unfairness going on, and these documents were very relevant and could have changed the outcome of the case in my favor. So those are the challenges self-representing litigants have. And I was spoken over quite often and wasn't allowed to speak and been cut off. The respect was not there, and the procedural fairness was not there. My ex had representation that spoke over me a lot, interrupted me a lot, was not stopped. So a lot went on that was improper. That should.
So you're saying that, in hindsight, get a prenup.
It's a must.
Get a prenup.
Absolutely a must.
In hindsight.
So, and do
Get a
not be
prenup.
pressured. Don't be pressured. Take the time to save up the money and go get a prenup. Even if it's $5,000, I don't know, I'm just throwing a number out there. It will save you from years of
I'm always I'm from the Caribbean, and I always say, I don't believe in prenup because if two people getting together.
But honestly, I don't know if a prenup really makes a difference because I actually went to college after, when my kids were younger, after the first divorce. I went back to college to study mediation. And I learned some things about family law, and what they said was that even if you have a will, even if you have a prenup, they said basically everything goes to the spouse. Everything is separated in family law, and so it goes by net family property. That's how they calculate it. They calculate what were you worth before the marriage, what were you worth, what assets do you have, what assets do you have, subtract them, and that's how they do it.
So you're damn if you do and you're damn if you don't,
So
right?
I wanted to add to that though, because and I didn't do extensive research on it, but what I've been understanding how the prenup works, because of how family law works about the asset division, if you do have that prenup, which is a contract saying that this is what we agreed to, then that's what takes precedence and stands, not the asset division. So it is protection there.
I'm not sure.
So it's very important. The only protection where the prenup does not stand is, for example, say one person passes away,
Right.
Yes.
Right.
then the spouse has all the entitlements,
Yes.
not the children. But in terms of protecting yourself while you're alive, the prenup, I believe, will provide.
So the prenup is
protection.
just for divorce.
Yes.
It's just for
Yeah.
divorce.
So it is essential to have that.
Damn if you do, you damn if you don't.
And I
I'm
know
telling you.
a lot of Caribbean and have the same beliefs about wills.
How I
or
see
prenups.
it, how I see it
But what I
is,
want to put out there, what's important, it's not to say you're going into the marriage thinking that there'll be a divorce while you want a prenup. This is security because life happens, things happen, people change. It's just like no one should be getting on life insurance looking for death, but it's protection for your family. So look at a prenup as protection because people are unpredictable.
Very.
Everyone has free will. People change. People are influenced. So it's just protection.
That's true.
all I say is, if you don't have to go down that road again, do not go down that road again. Stay in your lane, protect yourself and your children and your family, and don't go down the road again if you don't have to. Some people prefer to have a companion. Not everybody likes to be alone, and this is where we lose on.
Well, and like I said, there is God created marriage for a purpose. He created it for two to become one.
Yeah.
But just please, young
Society
people,
has changed. So many things are moving parts are different now. There's many variables, different reasons why people want to get married.
Yes.
When God created marriage, it was like man and woman get together, be happy, have children. Now it's house and land and car and papers.
Yeah.
Now it's technology. So many variables that are acting on the actual act of getting married. So you have to be careful. And people are meeting each other online. People are meeting in different ways, and you don't get to the bottom of
really
people's who they are.
Yeah.
And I mean, as Christian women, we can't live with the men before we get married.
Right.
And that's where all of the personality come out, because you could be friends with them forever, you'd never see a side of them until you actually get married.
You have to wait like at least 2 years, 3 years.
And then they'll be gone. Hopefully they'll be gone with that bad trait. But
And there's one small thing I want to add to that, because I've took the time to do a lot of work that I didn't do before. If you take the time to sit by yourself for a while, be in a season where you reflect on, why am I making these bad choices? Why is this happening to me? You will, go back to your younger years, your childhood, and you can understand why you're allowing this. Face it in the mirror, deal with it, ask God to heal you, work through it. So that way, when anyone comes along, you're not so easily manipulated and influenced, and those type of people won't stick around long.
toughen up.
Yeah, those type of people will not stick around long, so automatically you'll be a repellent to them.
It's very tough to have a relationship with somebody and just drag it out without getting the heart involved.
Yes.
It's very tough.
And
Especially
it's
for
so
women.
important to just keep your eyes open. Young people, keep your eyes open and believe what you see.
So I think that's where we're going to segue into the wrapping up.
Yeah.
First, so you were mentioning that you were stripped. Tell us a little bit about the outcome of the court for you.
Okay, so I'm still in litigation now, fighting because of a fraudulent sale and
Of what?
of my property.
What property?
A property house that I own in Whitby that I was stripped of through the court system.
You own the house.
Sole borrower, sole title owner.
Sole?
Borrow and sole title owner. And
meaning you alone own it.
I am the only one that's on title, yes.
And they take it from you?
And they took it from me, wrote an order to dispense of my signature and gave him all the power and authority, his signing authority.
This is the immigrant?
Yes, it's him.
Well, so why did that happen?
Because the equalization order that the judge approved, I didn't agree with it because he didn't provide his financial disclosure, and of course I told you evidence was rejected, and I didn't agree. I thought I'd appeal this and have the higher courts decide on this procedural fairness. During my appeal, he went ahead, didn't wait for my the judge to make a ruling. They were still waiting for a hearing date. He went secretly and got the property sold after he forced me out of the house when I was in the appeal court, and I only found out after, and I flagged the court, but nobody paid my email any attention.
Okay.
He sold it and stole the property. And
so this is a man who came in from somewhere, got married to her, got his papers, got everything that he needed, and then turned around, took the lady's only house, which she bought by herself, and sold it. Did you get anything from it?
Not $1. And they're holding up the paperwork. Then he
But is the money still in trust?
No, that's the thing. I found out through an affidavit that he served on November the 28th that on April 3rd he got his share, and nobody told me about this.
And what was his share?
$163,000 and change, but he recently submitted cost charges for all the interest from July 2020, pre-judgment, post-judgment, on that amount plus costs for litigation, came up with some ridiculous amount of money. I think it was near $80,000. And I said, flagged the court saying I didn't even get a chance to review this. He filed it already? Oh, well, it's too bad. It's under judicial review, so to speak. They didn't say too bad, but that's what it was. But then I tried to point out this wasn't by counsel as the order said, so they should reject it. It's up to her honor. I said, okay, fine. I was shocked when I understood that the judge accepted this. I was in shock. I'm like, again, I cannot believe this guy is getting away with all this. But she apparently wrote a one-page endorsement telling him about what dates to use, what calculations to use, where to look.
Hold on. The big thing is you lost your house,
yes,
and you were ordered to leave,
forced
to leave,
yeah.
And you're now out of a house. You're unhoused.
Yes.
No, you're not unhoused because you live with your sister.
Well, temporarily.
You had to move from Whitby all the way to Barry just to find a place of safety. Peterborough.
Yeah.
To find a place of safety.
Yeah.
Women of faith think and listen and learn. These things are happening to us, and we need to be aware of the things that are happening.
Yeah.
You also had something to say about
the trial. So yes, we went to trial, and so she ordered the parenting schedule that he wanted, 1 week on, 1 week off, which really disrupts the children. My children also have mild ADHD, especially my youngest, and my ex doesn't follow any of those recommendations. So my children have since had behavioral issues in school. One of the teachers said it's the worst she's ever seen my son's ADHD. Now, the outcome of the trial was that he got his parenting schedule, but I was awarded some money based on what he had underpaid, although I wasn't awarded the full amount. I won on that issue.
Again, this is somebody in the church.
Yeah,
and stop saying it,
Yeah.
Now after the trial, so I won on that issue. On decision making, we both wanted decision making, so nobody actually won on that. And there were some other small issues.
But you lost. You had to be paying money now. Tell us about that.
So she said in her 30-page decision that she won on he won on this, and we spent more time on the parenting issues, so technically he won when he didn't actually win. So I ended up having to pay out of what he owes me, now take $10,000 off of what he owes me for me paying costs for that.
For litigation.
And then we recently...
How do you sleep?
And then After her order was 2024 January. His income was based on his 2022 income taxes. He was still making more money 2023, 2024, 2025. He was ordered, in the order it says he's supposed to update his income, which he never did. He's still paid based on 2022, so he's still been underpaying since that order. I went back to court for that, and for the parenting schedule because my children are having issues, and for the decision making because he doesn't want them to get counseling. He didn't want to pay for physio. He didn't want my son to go to physio. He didn't want to take my son to physio. So I brought him back to court again for these issues, and it's called a dispute resolution officer. And the dispute resolution officer said, well, I know all the judges. I was just out with all the judges. We all know you guys. And if you take this back, we will not be lenient with you.
So the point we are trying to make here is that for Karen, she didn't have a lawyer. She was self-representing, and no attention was paid to her. Everything was just thrown out. For Sonia, she had a lawyer, but I don't know what happened there, and she just lost everything. It was as if better she never had a lawyer and just gave everything to this person. So, I mean, like I said, damn if you do, damn if you don't. We don't know how this is going to go. We just want you to understand that as women of faith, we are going to experience the same things that the people outside the world experience, but you get more or less attention because maybe you're a Christian or whatever, and the judges don't care for that. So we really, my heart goes out to you ladies. So now we are wrapping up, and as usual, Karen, Sonia, you know, we know people are watching, and we know lots of people will resonate with all that you have said, because a lot of people are going through the same thing. They're just not talking. But we want to give you an opportunity to reach these people. What can you tell them? What kind of advice can you give to these people who are watching, who are going through similar stuff?
Yeah, so I want to say, first of all, you know, stand strong in your faith, no matter what you're going through, to know that, you know, when you believe in the Most High, you're supposed to know your value, know your worth, and don't allow people to treat you how they feel because you feel maybe you don't want to be alone.
Right.
So put God first, and that will keep you in the right direction. So I also wanted to say too, before you get married, you know, be wise. You know people by their fruits. Don't, you know, listen to lip service. If people are quick-tempered, love to pressure you, or very smooth talking or love bombing, watch out for these red flags. Take time to learn about people. And if people can't take time to learn about you, that's another red flag.
Move along.
Also, the next one is network with others. You know, I know we get busy as moms with our children and with life and stress and work and religion and whatever it is, but yes, put God first, have that relationship, but try to build a network, get contact information of people from all walks of life, from people of all trades, because these people will be people that can
help you in your time,
in your troubles. Not necessarily, I'm speaking about financially, but knowledge-wise, or even a skill set that can improve your quality of life, and vice versa. You can improve their quality of life with your skill sets, and also this will help you if you have to go to litigation, where you have your own tribe of people now who can stand up for your character, the judiciary will know that eyes are on them, because now everything is going to be, the light's going to be shed on that.
Yeah.
So most likely you will get justice because they know you're not alone, you're not silenced, not isolated.
Yes.
You have your tribe behind you. So
set up some network, especially if you're in a black community, get black communities. If you're a white community, get people in your community, because it's important. Karen, take us up.
There's a few things that I want to say. If you do have to go navigate the court system as a self-represented person, because some people don't have low enough income to get legal aid, but they don't have high enough income
Right.
to hire a lawyer. So there's so many people that
No middle ground.
fall in that category.
Right.
So if you have to self-represent, it can be done. But the important thing to know is to keep your emotions out of it.
Yes.
By the grace of God, I was able to do that.
Yeah.
Only by the grace of God. And
Same.
you also, there's going to be a lot of paperwork and a lot of stress. There's deadlines. Know the deadlines.
Mhm.
Call the courts, find out what the deadlines are, do some research. You're going to also have to spend a lot of time in the law and case law and researching. That is important. And speaking of that, we want to create a network. We want to support you guys.
Yes.
So please, feel
Yeah,
free
I'm gonna
to
put
reach
their
out.
numbers at the bottom here, and not numbers, sorry, their contact, because they want to start a whole network of women who are divorced and who are navigating the divorce and who are self-litigating and whatever. So, see, put it under there. It's gonna be under there.
Yes, so we are here to support you, and we want to start that network. We also want to hold the court accountable for the
Exactly.
lack
Absolutely.
of the lack of justice that is being done.
For women.
So if you have had those experiences, contact us. And last thing is cling to God, because you know what? I could not have done this without God. I couldn't. It's His strength. Cling to God,
Yeah.
and He will carry you through.
Yeah. No, because even though we're talking so strongly about the fact that these people are in the church, we know why we believe what we believe. So we're not leaving God out of the picture at
No.
all.
He's central. He's
Especially because He's the one
critical.
taking you through this right now.
Yes.
Otherwise you'd be like mashed
I don't
potato.
know how people do it without God. I
No,
don't know
it
how they do
can't.
it.
No, it can't. No, it can't. Ladies,
And I just want to,
Ladies.
on a quick note, don't
Ladies.
give up. Don't give up.
don't give up. Ladies, it has been a pleasure. You guys have come, and I'm telling you, I lift my hat to you. I laud you, because a lot of women are going through this. Nobody wants to talk because everybody's afraid of, repercussions and whatever. But I thank you for coming. I appreciate this. We're going to ask you, if you like this conversation, don't forget, subscribe to my channel, Let's Talk with Karen. And the name of the show is Uncovering My Voice. And share with a friend and put your comments. We want to hear from you. And if you want to hear from these ladies, put your comments under there. We'll get you in touch with them so you can build a strong network to protect women. Yeah. So thank you. So ladies, from Uncovering My Voice, we're saying bye.